Alright, after a long day of school, I come back home, try to do a quick fairy tale chapter review, and then I just learned that Hiramashima released 2 chapters and a special chapter. Okay, I'm not going to review the special chapter since I don't think it's relevant towards the plot, so no, I'm not going to review it. However, those double chapters, 377 I thought was really good, but 378, well, this is going to be hard. Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, and today I'm going to review not one but 2 fairy tale chapters that are out this week. So let's get started with fairy tale chapter 377, Imperial Wrath of the Heavenly Dragon. So the chapter begins where we get a color page of Wendy in her Sky Dragon Force mode, and it looks really cool. One thing to note about the color page is that Wendy's hair and eyes are a light purple color. Now that Wendy has obtained Sky Dragon Force mode, in it she has better control over the air and the wind in the atmosphere. Not only that, but also her speed has increased to the point where it looks like that she disappeared, at least in Ezel's eyes. But with Wendy's enhanced speed, she manages to go right above Ezel and punch him on the back. Ezel tries to attack Wendy, but Wendy just dodges it and disappears until she appears right behind him and punches him on the side of his torso, crashing down to the cave's ground. However, Ezel got back up, and all it did was make him intrigued over Wendy's abilities. With Charle, she notices the timer for Face, and they have less than 4.5 minutes until Face activates. Knowing that they're running out of time, Wendy decides that she's going to finish this off right away. So she gathers as much wind as she can surrounding Ezel and uses the Dragon Slayer's secret technique, Shoha Tenkusen, Shattering Light Sky Drill. By the way, this is the same technique she used against Charle during her fight in the Grand Magic Games. However, Ezel's not going to give up because his Juho will slice everything into pieces, including air, and he uses his Yoto Crescent Moon to slice the Sky Drill, knocking Wendy back, and then he goes through his demon transformation to enter slash attack mode to turn into this. Yeah, each of his arms have turned into a sword. It looks like he has a mask now, his outfit's different, and that's basically it really. I don't know what I was expecting from his demon transformation, considering the fact that he looks more like a demon than some of the members of the Kyukemon. Also, he's got a helmet on, so he kind of looks like a samurai, but the more I think about it, the more he reminds me of Kenpachi, especially during the latest chapters of Bleach. I mean, the fact that he said that his Juho can slice through everything into pieces, the fact that he really loves to fight against strong people, reminds me an awful lot like Kenpachi. Or maybe it's just me. So since the Showa Tenkusen didn't work, Wendy decides to gather as much air as she possibly can to surround and engulf Ezel. However, Ezel says that it's futile, so he tries to slice the wind like before with the Showa Tenkusen. However, the more times he cuts the wind, even more wind will just appear, overwhelming Ezel as the wind coils on itself. And with that, Wendy manipulates the wind into a long tornado, destroying Face and defeating Ezel in the process. Her Dragon Force mode wears off, Ezel is defeated, and it looks like Face is destroyed, so it cannot detonate. Right?
Wrong!
Yeah, the countdown still keeps on going even though Face was supposedly destroyed. And Wendy doesn't even have any more strength left in her as she falls down to the ground. The land above Face's location starts to glow. Meanwhile, the cube island starts shaking again. 3 minutes remain, and it doesn't seem like there's any way to stop Face's activation, and that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Fairy Tale chapter 377. What did I think? I thought this was a really good chapter. I really enjoyed the fight between Ezel and Wendy. Wendy kicked some serious demon ass in her Dragon Force mode. It was freaking awesome. Wendy did a really good job against him. And I really thought that she prevailed against destroying Face, but no. Even though the pulse bomb was broken or destroyed, the countdown was still going. Which I didn't understand because we thought the magic pulse bomb was that giant face thing, right? So if you destroy it, then it wouldn't detonate, right? So how can it still keep on going with the countdown even if it's destroyed? That I don't understand, unless this is just the vessel of the bomb and the bomb itself has not been destroyed. Then I guess that would make sense. Or is it the shell of the bomb? But it's such a shame that Wendy didn't prevail against destroying Face, but she really did kick some serious ass against Ezel, and I gotta give kudos to her about that. I mean, she was awesome in that Dragon Force mode. I really liked it. It was pretty cool. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same to Ezel, because I know Ezel might lose, but I was actually hoping he was going to put up more of a fight, which he kinda did, but I don't know. Once again, we see another demon in his demon transformation, and in the end, it was kind of pointless because they got defeated. I mean, Ezel's demon transformation did look kind of cool, but against Wendy, it was like completely nothing. So I'm a bit disappointed we didn't get to see what Ezel could do with his demon transformation. I mean, the whole hype over his slash attack mode, yeah, it seems it's completely futile against the Sky Dragon Slayer in Dragon Force mode, which I don't have a problem with. I was just hoping we could see more of what Ezel could do with his techniques, but I guess all he can really do is just cut anything he can with his cursed blades. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed and kind of underwhelmed with Ezel. But overall, I really did like this chapter. I thought the fight was really good, and Wendy was really awesome with her Sky Dragon Force mode. Now let's move on to the next fairy tale chapter, 378, with friends always. This time it begins in Tartaros headquarters. Friendmouth tells Natsu, Lucy, and Happy that within 3 minutes, magic across the entire continent will be lost. Meanwhile, with Gray, he's continuing with his fight against Keith, but his ice make magic doesn't seem to work on him because whatever attack is thrown at Keith, his body will just turn into black powder. Back with Mirajane, she's still having a hard time against Sayla, who is still throwing books at her. Okay, I know Sayla is a demon and all that, but come on! It just looks like she's throwing books at her. And as I said before, books can hurt like hell if they hit you in the face, but it doesn't look intimidating because it's freaking books. So this is a true demon? No! That's not a true demon. It's a girl with horns on her head throwing books at you, Mirajane. Come on, step it up. Meanwhile, with Lisanna, she's still watching her sister fighting against Sayla. However, Lammy lunges at Lisanna, grabbing onto her, and it looks like that they're going to fight against each other. Oh wow, this fight is going to be so awesome. Excuse me if I don't sound excited. It's just that it would be cool to see Lisanna fight. It's Lammy of all people, the annoying bunny fangirl. Yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now, I don't like Lammy. I don't like her character, and I certainly don't care about her, or what she can do, or what her curse ability is. Also, is it just me, or does it look like she's copying a feel? Back with Kyoka and Erza, they're continuing with their fight, and Kyoka is aware that Face will detonate soon. Back at the cave in Poison Jelly Valley, it seems that Charle hasn't given up yet and has come up with a backup plan. Since Face is currently absorbing the continent's ether nano, all they have to do is convert that energy into another form, and when that happens, an auto self-destruct magic circle will form, and when you press the magic circle, Face will self-destruct. How does Charle know about this? It's because of her powers of prophecy. Oh yeah, I forgot she can look into the future. Apparently Charle searched for a future in which Face doesn't activate, and she was able to look into countless possible futures that existed, and she found one in which Face doesn't detonate, which is how she was able to figure out how to deactivate Face. Okay, excuse me if I sound a bit skeptical here, but Charle never shown that she has control over her precognition ability. And it's only now of all times she gained better control over it. And not only that, she can see multiple different futures, each with a different outcome. That sounds a bit too convenient if you ask me. I mean, since when can Charle learn to use her precognition ability to that extent? I mean, the last time she had a vision, it was during the Grand Magic Games. If she had this better sense of control over her precognition ability earlier, then maybe it would have came in handy during all those times. I'm just saying. It's only now of all times that she can do this. So Charle proceeds to form the auto self-destruct magic circle for Face, but when it appeared, Charle can't see no future beyond this point, which means that once she touches the magic circle, Face will self-destruct and they will be beyond saving. However, both are aware that if they don't deactivate Face, Tartaros will win. So Charle decides that she will deactivate Face, and she tells Wendy to get far away from this place because even she can't predict or estimate the range of the blast. However, because of her fight with Ezel, Wendy can barely move herself, and even if she could move, she refuses to leave Charle behind because they're meant to always be together. Wendy declares she's not going anywhere, hugs Charle, and then tells her, "I had a blast because I was with you, Charle, the whole time." Both decide to push the circle together, all the while having brief flashbacks of their time spent together from the very beginning, to when Charle hatched from her egg in Kate's shelter, to their time in Fairy Tale, the good and the bad. And oh my god, the feels of this chapter! Wendy tells Charle, "I hope we can be friends again." And Charle replies, "We will." They both press the circle and then... Well, that was certainly a big blast radius. So yeah, Face self-destructs. There's like barely anything left. I guess Wendy and Charle really are dead. No, they're not, because Doranbolt saves them in the last second. And that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 378. What did I think? This chapter was really emotional, especially when you feel like Wendy and Charle were going to die. They were going to sacrifice themselves to save the entire magical world. And they did it. And you felt the emotion, especially with the flashback panels of their life together. And it was really good. You really feel the feels in this one. And I liked that. But when you get to the last page, it is all completely wiped away. It was kind of ruined. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Wendy, and it would suck if she were to die. Frankly, if one of them was going to die, I'd rather have it be Charle than Wendy. If Charle was the one to die, I wouldn't mind. This would have been pretty good writing in Hiromashima's part. But for both of them to survive, and for Doranbolt to save them, it felt like a cop-out. I really thought Hiromashima was going to pull this off. Kill off one of the main characters in Fairy Tail, but there was a voice back in my head saying that Wendy and Charle were going to survive this somehow because this is Fairy Tail and main characters in Fairy Tail don't die. I mean, if Hiromashima did pull this off, this would have been a really ballsy move, and this would have been like really good writing. I mean, there are several occasions where sometimes mangaka do kill off some of their important characters. And when done right, it's really good storytelling. Now, I'm not saying this because I want Wendy to die. I mean, part of me is relieved over that because I like Wendy, but when you go through all that emotion and not deliver something that you set up, it feels like you're going through something only to have it not happen at all. It would have been better if Face was destroyed in chapter 377 so we wouldn't have to go through all that in chapter 378. Now, I will admit Doranbolt saving Wendy and Charle is not as bad as Happy surviving Jackal's explosion, but my problem is, how the hell does Doranbolt know where Face is? I don't think the formal council members know where it is, and Crawford, well, he's dead, so how did Doranbolt know where it is? Maybe he was following Wendy and Charle, but the last time we saw him, he was in Cobra's empty jail cell, so we didn't know what he was doing during that time. Another problem I had with this chapter was Charle's precognition ability. Now, I am aware that she has the ability to see into the future, but since when did she learn to gain better control over her ability? Because now she can look into multiple different futures. When did she learn how to do that? As for what was going on in Tartaros, it was basically set up to the conclusion of this chapter, which I didn't mind, but this was also setting up for another fight, Lisanna versus Lammy. I don't mind if Lisanna was fighting because I hated the fact that she was just standing there doing nothing, but I don't like Lammy that much, and hopefully Lisanna will just kick her ass. Maybe there's more to her than meets the eye, but personally I don't care about Lammy. So next week's chapter is going to be called Tartaros Arc Part 3, King of Hades. So Part 2 has concluded and we're moving on to the third part. But judging from the title, we're going to be focusing more on Natsu versus Franmouth, which is fine, but personally I want to see more of Keith versus Gray because Keith, so far we don't know a lot about his curse abilities, and he seems to know the connection between Gray and Silver, and I want that revealed already. So yeah, overall I thought this chapter was good because of the emotion you felt between Wendy and Charle, but that was completely ruined in the final page. But I still think this chapter was at least decent, and honestly 377 was better than 378. But this has been a pretty good week for fairy tale chapters overall, and I'm not all too upset over that last page. So yeah, that is fairy tale chapter 377 and 378. Tell me guys, what did you think of this week's chapters? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Did you think Wendy was awesome in her Dragon Force mode? And were you a bit disappointed or relieved after what happened in the final page? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe to more videos. Also, be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that's Fairy Tale chapters 377 and 378. I'm Lunarspawn27 and I will see you guys later. Bye.